Hi and welcome to High on Coding. I'm your host Mohammad Azam, and in this screencast I will show you how you can create your own image radio button list control. If you do need the functionality of an image radio button list, I would actually go with the route of the repeater control since it gives you more functionality and you can add different things to it. Okay, but if you do want to create your custom control for only for the purpose of the image inside a radio button list, then this is the video to watch. Right now I have a default radio button list, displays 3 items. If I go and view source, you will see that the radio button list is just a input which is a radio button, and a label tag which is displaying the text, which is in this case is desert, next one is jellyfish, and so on. So we do want to display over here an image tag basically. Okay, so that's our first task. Let's go over here. This is my custom image radio button list.cs class, and inside the create child controls I'm creating an image control, and then I'm firing this method. Now one thing to notice is this: I'm using or converting data source as IEnumerable because I'm binding it to a generic list. Now if you're binding to a data set, it won't work. Okay, so I will write an article and I will actually create one more video to show you how that will work in your scenario. Okay, so let's go over here. The first thing I need to do is to get the image URL. Okay, so I'm just going to say, okay, image URL is empty. Now it is an IEnumerable list that has been passed to me, so I can simply say for each var item in the list. Okay, now in the list, basically these are all the items that are in the list, and I can actually go and see what property that I'm looking at. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, if you go and see the default page, actually over here in the CS, I'm binding the users collection to the custom image radio button list control that I have, but I've added one more field to it, which is the data image URL. Now data image URL is a property of your collection, or the item in the collection, which will map to the image URL inside the image radio button list. So this is the property to look for when you're binding to some image. Okay, so this is basically the path to the image. So if I go over here, I can actually say, okay, image URL equal to, and now I can say dot get type dot get property, and now I can say data image URL and get the value from it. The object is this, and this is actually null as string. Okay, and then I have a collection which is now image URLs is basically just a list of string, and I will say add image URL or string.empty. So I'm basically going to add the non-null value, okay, because there will be some items in your collection which won't set the image URL property. And if I go back to my default, or you can actually see the third item, which is woo woo, it's not actually setting the image URL, but the first 2 items, which is a desert and jellyfish, they are setting some sort of a property image URL, and they have a path to the image. But the third one, which is woo woo, that doesn't have the image URL property set. So in that case, I just want to say that there is no image. Okay, so after setting up this, I will go back over here in the render item. So render item is basically fired each time you're basically rendering an item. Okay, and the repeat info, or the repeat index is basically the kind of like a location or the index of the item that is being rendered. Okay, so now at this particular point, what I can do is I can say, okay, I will say image URLs, URLs dot, let me see actually what is the property image URLs, and then I can say, okay, repeat, which is this repeat index, and this will be my image dot image URL. And now I can actually render the image image dot render control, and I can simply render the control to the writer. Alright, let's go up. See, so the image is simply just an image control, and image URL, as I said before, is just a list of string to keep track of all the URLs that we have. And at the end, in the render item, I'm just getting that URL, assigning it to the image URL property, and then rendering the control. Now if you go to default.aspx file, you will see that how I'm using the control. The first thing I need to do is to register the assembly. So it's part of the same assembly, which is called web application 1. The tag prefix I'm using is ww, and namespace is the same as the assembly, which is web application 1. Now if you do want to distribute this control, I highly recommend that you put this control in a separate assembly. Okay, but in this case I'm just not doing that. It's part of the same assembly, and then when I'm using it, I can use it like ImageRadioButtonList. Let's build this. Okay, let's go over here and refresh it. And now when you refresh it, you will see that those images, they're in some sort of a directory, and they are actually located or published over here. The last one, which is Boo Boo, it doesn't really have any image, but still it is being displayed. If you take a look at this, the code behind, or the HTML, so there's our radio button, followed by, and then we have the label control, and the last one is the image. Okay, and in the last one, you will see that there is an image tag. It just is blank. Okay, so one good idea would be to just not, remove this one. Actually, that would be a much better idea. You'll save some bytes when you're transferring data across. So that's pretty much it, and I hope you liked it. If you do need more information, I will be writing more articles which will be hosted on highoncoding.com. If you do want to write for us, then here's a link, man. I mean, go and write for High on Coding. Okay, it's very simple, very easy, and you can actually see that there are tons and tons of videos, there are tons and tons of podcasts, there are tons and tons of articles. They are updated every week, sometimes more often than you think. Okay, so if you check out the videos, I mean, this is like, the list just goes on. It's like 118 plus videos, and they're all free. They're all free for use. Do visit High on Coding. Do recommend it to your friends. And if you like to donate, if you do have any suggestions, if you do like the video, if you do like the articles and podcasts, email me at azamsharp@gmail.com. If you do like your banner to be displayed over here, if you are interested in advertising, email me at azamsharp@gmail.com. Hope you like this video. Thank you very much.